Hey folks, welcome to TK's Gameplays. Far Cry 5 editor map, super basic short tutorial about just the most basic tips and tools to get you started editing maps in Far Cry 5. This game just came out, I'm enjoying the campaign, but I really bought it for the editor and I started a little while ago, and here's just a few tips I wish I'd known to start it off with that would have gotten me right to the races as soon as very possible. So you click on an open map. We could start with an empty map, but I really recommend that you start off with something in there to give you a footing. You don't get the blank canvas fear looking at that stuff. So let's go with a rocky island. And just going to do a really simple journey. And all journey is there's a spawn point and there's an exit. And you just have to get from the spawn point to the exit. So hold on here as I fast forward time and get into the fully spawned editor. Okay, so here we are. The game has sort of spawned. I've got some things disabled so that it's easier for us to look at right here. The very first thing you're going to want to do in this journey game is to add two objects. And the objects are going to be a spawn point and an exit point, or an extraction zone. So I hit 5, but you can also get to it by going to add new objects from this tool menu. You can also use this toolbar right here, but I actually found it's easier to just use the tool menu right here because it has the names of everything you want right there without having to hover over it with the mouse. So, okay, so we're going to hop right over here, click on spawn point, and snap it right into the map right there. Move back just a little bit. Just looking forward and pick up an extraction zone. And an extraction zone is just the point you need to get out of the map. That essentially in Journey ends the level. You beat the level. So you have to, of course, make sure you put the extraction zone in a place that is accessible. But that's beyond the scope of this video right here. So moving on really quickly here, to navigate the screen, you move it just like a first-person shooter. So W is forward, S is back, A and D to the sides. If you hold down Shift, you actually move a little bit quicker either way. If you use the scroll wheel, it'll move towards the pointer. So keep that in mind. It seems to move faster than using WASD, but it goes towards the pointer, which can be very useful. Maybe it might not be in all cases. If you hold the right mouse button and then click and drag, it'll rotate the world. And another really important and useful thing is if you click the mouse button, the wheel button, and you move it up and down or left to right, then you can move around the world that way. One thing to note is that it moves the camera, not the world, whereas in some editors it sort of moves the world, not the camera. So it might move the opposite of what you expect. You'll just have to get used to it because I don't think as of right now you can easily change the key settings for the editor. Hopefully that's coming in the future, but not right now. All right, on to some really basic tools right here. I'm going to start it off with bump. That's like sort of the most basic tool you can get. All bump does is it makes a bump. Lo and behold, if you can hold it, you can hold it in place. It just keeps going up, or you can drag it around. A lot of them can use a modifier, so if you hold down the control key, it makes the opposite of a bump. And again, you can just click and drag, move it around. One really useful thing is if you hold down the Shift key and you drag the mouse to the right or up, it makes the radius quite a bit larger. And if you do the opposite, move the mouse down or left while holding Shift, it makes it smaller. So you can see, make some really big bumps, make some really big holes holding down Control. The next tool I want to show is the Raise Lower tool, which does exactly what it says. Essentially, wherever you're currently pointing the mouse, if you click it, it'll raise it by one level. If you hold on Control, it'll lower it by one level. And if you can just keep on clicking it too. Upsy daisy. Next tool I wanted to show is Flatten tool, and that does exactly what it sounds like. It flattens it. So it's mostly where you're pointed. It seems like just a little below it flattens it down. So you got some crazy thing right here. I'll click right here. So I can see that the Flatten tool flattens. I'm going to jump out of order here. Come here, tools. Behave. And go to Set to Height. This is very similar to Flatten, but you hold the Control key and then you click where you want the height to be. So if you can see where my mouse pointer is, I clicked, Control clicked, and now when I drag and draw, it'll make everything the same height. And obviously that can be pretty useful when you don't want stuff to be moving around every time you re-click. For example, do there again. It'll go up to that height. Put it down right here. It'll go down to that height. So that's very, very useful. Ramp is the other one that's going to be very, very useful for you. Click on ramp, and what you do is you select initial spot for the ramp, and you just click once, and then an end spot for the ramp. It'll make something in between. You can also go do the opposite. You don't have to start on the bottom of the ramp. You could start at the top of the ramp, click the bottom. It'll put something in between. You can also make things large. Bam! Make yourself a big old ramp. The last thing I want to show is just how to add objects. So you can hit the 5 key, or you can do add new object. And if you go in the search bar over here, and you can type the word of what you're looking for, and I'm just going to pick the first boulder that comes our way, and you click on it, you left click on it in the menu, and then you just left click again on the ground where you want it to be. If you hit the 1 key or select, you select it, and then if you see the different arrows right here, red, green, blue, that lets you move the item itself on its axes. The many axes, and just those axes alone. If you hit 2 or the move tool, which is right here, move, while it's selected, you can move it around using the mouse and more of like a free transform on location. And then you can also do the rotate, which is also very useful, which is also 3. And it's the same thing. You click on an axis that you want to move it on, and it will let you freely rotate it upon that axis. So it'll stay in place but rotate on those axes. One other really useful thing is when you're in the game and you want to play, and you've already set your spawn point, you don't want to move your spawn point to test the level, and you don't want to run all the way up to the point where you're testing. If you hit Control E, it's one of those icons up there, don't remember which it is anymore, it'll let you explore, and it'll drop you right where the camera was. So I'll probably fall a little bit here.
Journey.
Not too far. Now note in Journey though, if you get to the extraction point, it won't end the game because you're just exploring right now. You're exploring your menu, your game, so you can figure out what exactly you're doing. So I'm going to hop right back to the editor, and now we're going to actually play it. So it's play map, the little play button right there, and you can pick your loadout. Let's go melee. This will be really intense. I'm going to use the boulder though, because we put it on there, and amazing. That was a tough map, but we made it. So I just wanted to give you a few little tips to start yourself off in editing this game, so it didn't feel a little bit overwhelming when you got right in. That should allow you to get your feet wet at least. So I really hope you enjoyed this. If you think of any really good tips for editing the game, leave them below, and I might do a more advanced tutorial later on. But for now, guys, have fun in the editor. See you around. Thanks for watching.